Hey everyone, welcome to a special bonus episode of Locked On Lakers. Brian Kamenetsky, Andy Kamenetsky. LeBron James, as expected, signs his new deal with the Lakers, and he does him a solid in the process. We'll explain next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes on Sundays. No matter how or where you get your podcasts, this one's always free and never behind a paywall. And Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where you can go hang out with over 24,000 subscribers to the channel, all of whom now know that LeBron James has signed with the Lakers late on Saturday. That gets done. A 2-year deal as expected, but instead of the maximum allowed $104 million, it is, Andy, $101.355 million, correct?
Yep.
Which is important because the discount there from $104 million to $101.355 puts the Lakers, it almost sounds made up given where the numbers are and how big they are, $45,000 below the second apron. So they are in apron world, Andy. They are real close to that second apron, but they are still under it, which will allow them some flexibility with organizing trades or whatever it might be to try, they can, to improve the roster.
Yeah, reading a tweet from Bobby Marks, ESPN's cap guru. Barring a trade to put them over, the Lakers project to finish the 24-25 season below the second apron. Their 2032 first would not be subjected to the draft pick penalty, eligible to trade next summer. That's obviously also a big deal for the Lakers' future plans and the ability to trade picks, stuff like that. However, they are still restricted to take back more salary unless it is $45,000 or below in a trade or aggregate contracts if the post-transactional salary exceeds $188.9 million. So talking about the Lakers' total payroll. So they are still living in the restrictive world between the first and the second apron. I feel like we are explaining the rules of Stranger Things, different portals or whatever, but this is a big deal for the Lakers in terms of still trying to have some ability to make trades and things like that. Because if LeBron did take the full max, there would be ways to get under, whether you're talking about stretching and waiving a Cam Reddish or a Jackson Hayes or a Christian Wood, or salary dumping them, including assets. And quite frankly, I expect that possibility still to remain. It's pretty strong. It'll happen, but this gives the Lakers a head start on it. And it's what both Brian and I expected would happen as far as what LeBron would ultimately sign for. And I'm happy to see that he did.
Yeah, I mean, once it was sort of put out there that LeBron is considering doing it, you can't be like, I changed my mind. And as I said in the cold open, he does the Lakers a solid here, which is 100% true. He also does himself a solid. He is now, to take the extra, and I don't want to tell, I don't care how rich you are, $2.5 million or, nearly $3 million or whatever it is in exact numbers, still a lot of money. I mean, I realize LeBron is a billionaire, but that's still, not nothing to give back. A person can do a lot with $2.5 million. But that said, to take that extra, he is not only hamstringing the Lakers, he is hamstringing himself. If the goal is to have the best possible roster while still taking the money that he thinks he deserves and does. I mean, I'm not arguing with that. And I'm not arguing with the premise that he should. So how the Lakers improve from here, Andy, is an open question. The last, I guess, remaining marquee free agent is off the board. DeMar DeRozan is going to Sacramento, 3 years, 73 or 76.
I've seen it reported as 74, and I've seen it reported at 75. Either number is way the hell above anything the Lakers could have possibly manufactured. One thing we have learned between the summer of 21 and this current summer is DeMar DeRozan deeply loves Los Angeles, but that deep love for Los Angeles does not equal deep discounts for the Lakers, nor frankly should it.
No.
But there's been this pie in the sky hope that DeMar DeRozan would, give his hometown team one hell of a discount. And, that was attached to the idea of LeBron potentially taking such a haircut to allow the Lakers to create like a full mid-level exception, things like that, or maybe even a little bit of it. But there was no way, frankly, I don't think 3-75 for DeMar DeRozan is good business for the Lakers anyway.
No.
But that being said, you were starting to get into what I think would be unreasonable territory to expect LeBron to do. And I think LeBron, when he had DeMar DeRozan on his wish list, while I think he sincerely would have liked to have had DeMar DeRozan, I think LeBron was fully aware the odds of this were extremely low to begin with.
And you also have to come up with trade, stuff that makes sense. Like that's the thing, like the Kings send out Harrison Barnes, who's, a replaceable player, but it's, he ends up going to Sacramento. I'm sorry, to San Antonio. Where he will be kind of, a real stabilizing force there to help this team, like Chris Paul, with all of these young players, to try to make a little bit of a leap organizationally. I don't think they're going to be quite ready to do, an Oklahoma City jump or something that profound.
But they might get to the play-in.
They could. Wemby's that good. They've got a lot of young talent, and you can't. While I actually think in a lot of ways, from a day-to-day basis, Harrison Barnes could have a bigger impact than Chris Paul. Like, so somebody who can absorb a lot of minutes, just a smart veteran, still does a lot of things well, will understand his role there. But like, could the Lakers, let's say they were willing to go 3-75 or DeRozan, could they have put together the stuff, to make that happen without opening up big holes in their roster? This is the problem that we've been discussing for the last week or two. It's that the Lakers' salaries are players that they need.
Right. And Chicago, it should be noted, basically took back nothing. Like, Chicago really didn't take anything back in salary at all, which complicates what the Lakers may have been trying to do.
The salary went to Sacramento. Went to San Antonio in the form of Harrison Barnes.
Right. So, that, again, it underscores the complications the Lakers had when it came to these sign-in trades for DeMar DeRozan, for Klay Thompson. It just is difficult.
So the Lakers, I believe I saw somebody say, it certainly seems reasonable, the Lakers are the only team now in the association, as they call it, that has not made a move, like beyond signing their own guys. They have not made a trade. They have not been involved in a free agent signing. They have not done anything. I don't have the list in front of me to say if that's 100% true, but I certainly believe it by now, that the idea that everybody's done at least something. That is going to frustrate the heck out of Lakers fans. And I guess there is at least now you could at least construct an argument, Andy, that now that LeBron has signed, they have the numbers in front of them, they know all these things, maybe they can begin again in earnest to they need to open up a couple spots. And however they do it, whether that's, sending Cam Reddish and a second rounder somewhere just so that team can cut him, that sucks to be Cam, but that's really, I think, unless they can arrange some sort of 3 or 4 player trade, or I guess, and maybe we'll talk about this for Monday, leverage Chicago's desperation to try to reform their roster through a
Zach
LaVine deal. They're still in a box. Like, this doesn't change the box they're in. It just defines the box a little better.
Well, it makes it a far more pleasant box to be in. Like, the box that is located between the first and the second apron is constrained. Like, it's the difference between living in a small 1-bedroom apartment and living in a small studio apartment. Like, when you're above the second apron, you are in a really, really cramped studio that you cannot believe costs, $10,000 a month.
Right.
You can't understand how in a crappy neighborhood. You don't understand what your life choices, how they led you here. But it all kidding aside, it is very, very fortunate for the Lakers, even though, as we discussed, they could manufacture ways to get back below it. It does help that LeBron's contract creates a baseline where they're already below.
All right, so we'll keep unpacking this. We will obviously get into the two summer league games over the weekend. A lot of stuff to break down for Monday's show, Andy. But before we go,
well, we're going to let people know that Locked On Lakers is brought to you by FanDuel, and we all love sports. We love them so much that we never want them to stop. But as the playoffs in various leagues wrap up, we get fewer games, and the sports aren't sportsing like we want them to. But FanDuel lets everybody keep the sports going whenever you want. All you got to do is open the app, dream up bets for whatever the mood you're in, whatever your fancy. You got baseball, you got WNBA, you got options. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com/lockedon. Start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball.
Locked On Lakers. This episode also brought to you by BetterHelp. Look, we have a lot of fun on this show comparing the Lakers to other teams, comparing players to other players and all that stuff. But in real life, that kind of comparisons can really weigh down on a person. You start to look at your life compared to somebody else's, and you're checking out social media and seeing how, what's my work, how's my job, all this stuff stacking up against my friends from school or whatever it might be. It can create a lot of pressures on your reality. It can distort what you're seeing. And a lot of times, therapy is something that can help. And if you've ever benefited, had a chance to go to therapy and you can benefit from that. I know Andy has. These are the types of things that can make a difference. You can talk to somebody about a tendency to compare yourself and your life to other people, whether or not that's really the right way, the most healthy way to do things, and how you might be able to get out of it. So it's just one of many things you can tackle in therapy. So if you're thinking about doing it, you can look at BetterHelp. You can give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient. You fill out a brief questionnaire and you get matched with a licensed therapist. You can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So stop comparing and start focusing with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA. You get a 10% discount off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. We'll see everyone Monday.